Jupiter has entered Cancer, and this is truly a time which is all about the cosmic mother's blessings. Jupiter is the planet of divine wisdom, known as the guru in our charts, and the guru or the teacher of our divine qualities, of the devas. And as it moves into Cancer, why you might hear a lot of astrologers talking about this is Cancer is the sign where Jupiter is exalted. It is where it is at its strongest. And we want to be really careful when we say exalted. We don't mean that everything's going to be easy and perfect and we're in some type of nirvana. No. Rather, this is a period of time where Jupiter's energy is working more freely and even in a stronger manner than we're used to. Now, Cancer is the sign of the Sacred Mother. It is this energy that softens the cosmos, that calls for us to connect with nature and to connect with the Divine Mother within and all around. It's a time when wisdom meets empathy, when expansion finds safety, and there can be a really nurturing and divine energy at play where the intellect or the wisdom of the mind is really easily able to connect to intuition. It's the time when the heart, which is the home of our soul, becomes our greatest teacher. And there's an ease at which the heart can speak to us, which isn't always in operation. Now, the dates we want to look at for Jupiter's time in Cancer, he'll be there from the 18th of October until the 6th of December 2025 for his first phase. Then we have his second phase in Cancer from the 2nd of June 2026 to the 1st of November 2026. And then we're lucky enough to have a third phase in which he'll be in Cancer in 2027 from the 25th of January to the 26th of June. Now, this is an 11-year cycle that we're in, and this video is relevant to you whether you're watching Jupiter's entry into Cancer or whether you natally have Jupiter in Cancer. This is going to be a video where we talk about what that means, as well as what it means to you based on your sign. Now, first of all, let's talk about the essence of Jupiter. Jupiter is known as Guru or Brihaspati in Vedic astrology, and he is the great teacher, the guide of our divine qualities, the guide of the devas. We can think of like our angelic tendencies, compassion, mercy, empathy, um, unconditional love, positive regard for others, the things that we're almost striving towards. But more important than thinking about how we're striving towards those things, it's actually important to remember that those things are you. That's actually your true nature under the ego, under separation, under identity. And so this is a period of time where we can find there's this shift into higher knowledge. Now, Jupiter governs wisdom, truth, dharma, which is righteous action, morality, and he gives us the ability to see the bigger patterns in life, to look at things from a meta point of view. His sweet spot isn't detail. So this isn't going to be a period where you're nutting things out or you're trying to create logic or rational meaning behind the movement of what's happening in your life or even strategy. Rather, it's a period of time of seeing the bigger picture, seeing the higher meaning. And often this can manifest as the question of just asking why. Now, Jupiter within us is really the part of ourselves that is deeply connected to the soul. That's why it's exalted in Cancer. But it's the question that really seeks meaning in life, or the planetary energy that seeks meaning in life. It wants to know why it's here. It naturally trusts the universe and knows that it is being cared for by the universe, which is another quality that can come out when Jupiter is in Cancer and can offer us grace, the downpouring of divine grace on our journey. So if we look at the energy of Cancer, Cancer is ruled by the moon. And it's all about the emotional currents of life, the inner tide that connects us to a feeling of safety, of protection, of belonging and of home. It is our inner mother. And if you think of that mothering quality, it's probably best aligned with the Divine Mother, protecting children, protecting your own inner child, making sure you feel safe, making sure you have a solid foundation in this realm. That's really what Cancer is concerned with. And it's very much the archetype of the mother, of the home, and of the sacred womb of creation. In Vedic tradition, Cancer is very much aligned to the heart space. It's the softest space within us, the heart chakra. And this is the place where compassion and unconditional love reside. And this is the energy that Jupiter is getting us to embody more and more and more. So when Jupiter is in Cancer, there's the flow of divine wisdom and the sense that the intellect is able to connect deeper to the heart, actually to almost like fall into the heart, which is the ultimate journey. So, why is Jupiter exalted in Cancer? So, in Vedic astrology and in Western astrology, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. His exact point of exaltation is actually 5 degrees of Cancer, which he won't reach until 2026. We're just kind of getting a little interim bite in 2025. And it means that this is a place where its qualities express themselves in their highest form, in their most graceful form. Why? Well, if Cancer represents the heart and Jupiter represents the higher mind, Jupiter's entry into Cancer represents the mind and higher wisdom, or the heart and the mind coming together as one. It is a time of compassion, a time of knowledge which pours forth from unity, from love, from understanding that we're all just looking for belonging. It really teaches us as well, and this is very important, that the wisdom that we're looking for is not found in books, that the home that we're truly looking for is not found in a physical place, but rather within, in kindness, in empathy, in realizing that we belong because we are. We can't not. It's the energy of the mother, like the teacher that nourishes, that feeds, the parent who believes, the parent who has faith, the guru who loves simply through its presence. And so you can find during this time that maybe you feel that energy of the Divine Mother is closer to you, is more involved in the work that you're doing, in how you're showing up, in the questions that you're asking about life. And even this idea that you're being guided more through your inner wisdom than through your intellect, guided more through unconditional love instead of separation. Now, the psychological and the spiritual themes that you'll feel popping up during this period, when Jupiter is in Cancer, we often feel a call to nurture, to care, and to protect. And underneath that, there can be this energy of like having generosity of spirit, having deep emotional intelligence that excludes no one. It allows us to hold space for others, to allow them to feel like they belong. You can find that you're called to even work with a teacher that shows you that. If you don't have a teacher that you work with on the inner plane or within you, very often during a period like this, someone can appear to us outside of ourselves. Remember, that is you appearing to you outside of yourself in order to push you back in, to nurture you back into yourself. Now, the big spiritual lesson of Jupiter in Cancer will be about connection to the Divine Mother, connection to compassion and empathy and inner belonging. At a material level, which is probably a little bit easier to see and explain, it's a time which is really great for property, which is kind of like we're going over here. It's a great time for assets related to the home, for stocks or investments you might have related to home or belonging or protection or even mothering. And it can also stir up energy within you around where you want to live, how you want to live. Maybe you want to sell your house or you've been trying to sell your house. You've been wanting to buy a house. This is going to be a period of time which brings a lot of that energy around. So you might take a moment just here to pause and just reflect, even write down what it is that you want to nurture during this period. What do you want to grow? And if you feel called, drop the comment or drop that intention in the comments below to share with others as inspiration on their journey. So, What does Jupiter in Cancer mean for you? We're going to start just with a little section talking about what it looks like as a transit in a chart. And then I'm going to go into the horoscopes for Jupiter. So, in a natal chart, wherever Jupiter enters Cancer, it's blessing that entire house. Regardless of if it's touching a planet in that house or not, in Vedic astrology, it touches the entirety of that house and that sign. It will bring compassion to that area of your life. It will bring wisdom. It will bring emotional growth, and it will allow you to have a greater faith in life than maybe you've really felt lately, particularly with the astrology in the beginning of 2025. Now, when Jupiter transits Cancer at a collective level, we can have the collective energy start to soften, start to become more compassionate, more protective, and more drawn into the sacred feminine. At the same time, there can be a really big focus collectively on belonging. Who belongs where and why? What makes someone's homeland their homeland? Can you even own land? How are we connected to the land that we're on, not just wanting to possess it? Because the idea of like possessing or owning land is very much the industrial military complex that we're in. But when we're in this energy of the divine mother and the divine feminine, it's like, how are we actually the land? How are we nature? How are we inextricably linked to that? So, what you want to do in your chart is really look at what house Cancer rules for you. And based on that house, you're going to understand where this grace will show up. I'm going to give you some hints in the next section of this video. But for example, if you have Cancer in your 10th house, which is your house of career, based on your Vedic or sidereal chart, not on a tropical or Western chart, it will expand the career opportunities that you're stepping into. It can help bring about greater empathy and emotional intelligence and intelligent leadership in that area of your life. Say if it's in the fourth house, the house of home and the mother, which Cancer rules, it's going to be extra strong. And you can find that this is a time where there's many blessings around the home, where you're stepping into motherhood, where you're selling a property, you're moving properties, you're changing where you live, the relationship with your mother is changing. We'll talk about that more in a second. The other thing I want to mention here is if you know that you're in your Jupiter Mahadasha, if you do not know what a Mahadasha is, that's something that can be looked at in a one-on-one reading, and I'll put details below if you're interested. It's your planetary ruler. But if you are in a Jupiter Mahadasha, this can be a very auspicious period for you. Even if your Jupiter Mahadasha has been difficult, even if your natal Jupiter is in Capricorn and debilitating that Mahadasha energy, this can bring some light. This can bring some lightness, some empathy, some understanding, and even allow the flow of abundance that you've been waiting for during this period of time. And I would say that even extends to people that have their natal Jupiter in Aquarius and they're in their Jupiter Mahadasha. It will feel much easier. If you want to learn about your Mahadasha, you can look it up online, but it's one of those things that needs to be explained. So I would recommend doing a one-on-one reading, even if it's just a brief reading, to understand it and get an astrologer's perspective about it. That could be with me or anyone else. So what does this mean for you? So let's dive into how this can manifest in your chart based on your ascendant. So, what I want you to do is to listen out for the sign that is your ascendant sign. So, that's the sign that's in the first house of your chart. And remember that I'm using sidereal slash Vedic astrology. So, you're going to need to pull up a chart which uses that method, not tropical Western astrology, as there's actually quite a big difference between the two. So to get even more accurate with the horoscope that I go through for Jupiter in Cancer, you could even add in like the position of your Jupiter to understand if this is going to be positive or negative for you. Finally, as I go through these horoscopes, comment below as well and let me know if they resonate, if you sense this is coming up for you, or maybe there's something else that you're feeling. So let's start. For those with Aries ascendants, so Aries is ruling the first house. This means that Jupiter in Cancer is going to be hitting your house of home. You can find that the period that Jupiter is in Cancer can see you moving homes, selling your property, acquiring something to do with your home. And there can be a big focus for you on belonging, what it means to belong, even the desire to expand how you live. Maybe that's renovating, even as extreme as moving overseas as a means to expand your living situation. You can find that this is a period where there's a call to undergo a pilgrimage during some point in time that Jupiter is in Cancer in 2025, 2026, or 2027, to expand your spiritual understanding through travels, to connect to the Devi, maybe through travels, and being called into deeper connection with the Divine Mother. You might even find that this is a time where you want to learn about healing, about health, or simply incorporate greater studies into your daily routine as a means to expand the way you see the world. For Taurus ascendants, Jupiter's going to be transiting the house of the mind. It's not necessarily the easiest transit, but it has the potential to really move you away from the detail into the bigger picture. So you can find that really big themes for you are around communication, listening, and short distance travel. You can find that you're called to speak or connect more with family, with your siblings if you have them, with your mother, and to even start writing down your own inner wisdom or to journal more frequently. It can feel like you're really opening up to greater wisdom from the heart, and it's coming to you. That heart wisdom is coming to you through conversations, through messages, and even through free writing. You'll need to pay attention to your well being during those periods that Jupiter's in Cancer, because you can find that there's the opportunity in his movement into that sign to actually shift your daily routine, to change how you've been caring for yourself. And there can be a really deep desire during this period for you to connect with more like minded souls, to even focus more on growing your social group or finding people. It doesn't have to be many people, but more people that you feel intuitively or soul aligned to, like they really feed your soul. If you have a Gemini ascendant or Gemini's ruling the first house, this can bring really great news when it comes to money, to wealth, and how you manage your finances. And even if you've been trying to sell an asset and it's been really difficult, sell a property or buy one, this can be a period where things fall into place. You can find that you might even get more for that thing that you're selling than you expected. You can find that there's a really big focus on finding freedom in your partnerships, whether that's an intimate partner or a business partner, with meeting new people who are of different backgrounds to you, and even traveling with a partner somewhere which really expands your mind. The other area which is going to benefit from Jupiter being in Cancer will be your work. And this can be the place where you experience a boost in your career, where you might experience a pay rise or a change in your pay, like a bonus coming through, even the ability in while Jupiter's in Cancer to wrap up something you've been working on and step into new energy in your career. If you have a Cancer ascendant, so Cancer is in the first house, this is very auspicious because Jupiter will be in the first house. It is really a call for you to return home. And that can manifest materially as you going back to the place your mother is from, the place you grew up in, where your family lives. And it's a time of reconnecting to your roots. Remember that you do belong, that you do have family, particularly if you felt a little bit like an orphan lately. This can be the chance to reestablish that family foundation. It can also be the start of a new journey. So even if it feels like you're going back somewhere familiar, it isn't that. You're not repeating an old cycle. Rather, because you have changed over the past 11 years, how you interact with this place has changed too. This is also a period of time where there's a big focus on your well being, even learning about healing or health, if that's calling to you, and a period where you can find that you're desiring to dive deeper into your connection with the divine, to learn more about your paternal ancestry, to travel to places where your father might have lived or your father's family or paternal ancestry was from, even to learn more about your intuition and the connection to your ancestral lineage. If you have a Leo ascendant, surprisingly enough, this is going to be quite an introverted transit for you. It might even be hard to fully describe the energy that you're processing. It can feel like a cycle is ending, particularly related to your mother, your maternal ancestry, her lineage. It can feel like you're in the throes of working through old patterns that didn't start with you, but relate to your sense of belonging, your ability to feel solid in yourself, to feel secure and protected. Added to that, this can be a period where spiritually you feel called to go inside, to find home inside, and even from that place within, create something within your home which is deeply spiritual, even if that's like a place of worship, like an altar or a room that you go to do mantra or to meditate. There can also be a lot of playful energy for you, like the call to explore your creativity, maybe to find more passion in life, to explore your artistry, to travel with children if you have them somewhere, um, or to pursue more of your artistry, like the things you were really great as a child at, coming back online with this. Just know this is a time for you of tremendous ancestral healing and cleansing. And so it's really that reminder that home is within, particularly if you've had displacement occur within your lineage or a sense of not knowing where your home is, where you feel at home. Virgo Ascendant, this is a period where you can find there's a call to socialize, to meet new people, and to even advocate at a higher humanitarian level on behalf of the rights of those who don't have a homeland, whose homeland has been exploited, taken from them, or are looking for belonging. You can find that there's greater belonging in your friendship groups and actually with being with people who have similar values to you, that believe similar things to you. Added to that, if this is a time where you're looking to sell property or something within your home, there can be great gains in doing this. And you can find that there is underneath this kind of here and there almost a return to a call or a longing to return to your mother's homeland, to live overseas, even briefly, to expand how you're living, as well as the call to dive into deeper spiritual marriage with yourself. If you have Libra as your ascendant or Libra in the first house, Jupiter in Cancer brings a big focus on your career and work, the call for expansion in this area of your life. And that expansion can come as the need to move overseas for work or to change countries, to grow your role, even to do something related to property, the home, or belonging within the corporation, company, or the work that you're called to do. It can be a period of time where there's a lot of travel for the work that you're doing, opportunities to really expand the role that you're in, and you can find that your mind wants to learn more, to be stimulated by new ideas, or even informal studies. You might even find that one of your siblings or someone that's like a soul friend moves overseas during this period. They kind of move away from you, but you're still connected to them. Pay special attention here as well to your health, ensuring that with everything that will be happening in your work, that you're not burning out, that you're not saying yes to everything, but being discerning. It can be a period of time where you explore therapy or new therapies, even energy healing. It feels like a lot of that healing energy is more about the energetic and the mental, the psychological, as opposed to the physical. You might even find that this is a period, if you haven't explored the idea of a retreat, that there is the call or the opportunity to travel and go on retreat. If you have a Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio in the first house, this actually marks a very busy travel period for you. So, Jupiter in Cancer brings travel, it brings exploration, opening your mind to new places, maybe somewhere your mother or your paternal grandmother or paternal, the women in your father's lineage lived. You might even consider teaching others if that's on the card, or even if there's a deep desire to learn from a master or a spiritual teacher, you might find they come to you or you go and track them down. This is a period where you can find that you want to live overseas or go back to a family home, particularly if you were born overseas. And it could also, you can also find that that goes like another way, which is that there's the call to live in a more spiritual way. So living in an ashram or living in a spiritual home, somewhere where it keeps you connected to the heart. There can also be a big focus on money and a new relationship with the material world as you allow yourself to step into having greater faith in what's provided for you, even knowing and like trusting that what you get given will be exactly what you need. And it can feel quite lucky in that way. Finally, Jupiter in Cancer can really trigger your creativity, particularly if you haven't felt creative lately. The things that you love to do as a child, the self-expression that you had, the creative energy that you had can feel like it's coming back online, as well as the opportunity to work through old ancestral energy and programming that was showing up in your childhood and how you were raised. If you have a Sagittarius ascendant, Sagittarius will be in the first house. This is going to be a period where you need to face endings, secrets, and you might even find it's a period where death comes to be, but that death is actually lucky. It's something that needs to take place, whether that's someone passing in your life or it's about a metaphorical death. Why that's important is it feels like something is being unblocked so that greater abundance, new energy, and new ideas can flow. It can also be a call for you to sell an investment that you've got. So that could be a property that you're not living in, stocks, or something else that you've invested in that has now reached maturity and it's time to be sold. You can find that you receive more than you expect. And you might even find this is a period of time where you receive inheritance, which comes from your mother or your maternal lineage. This is a time where you're stepping into your own sense of belonging and protection. Um, and it's almost like the thing that's also dying is the idea of an external mother. It's like you're coming into your own understanding that you are your mother, that belonging and protection starts with you, that security starts with you. It can call for you to travel and explore, be optimistic about the future and new beginnings that are starting, particularly related to your direction in life and the relationship you've got to your body. Kind of that's really important if you've been struggling with, say, like your weight or your physical experience over the last couple of years. This can help you work out how to relate to your physical being. Finally, it can bring luck in your home situation in creating new foundations, as well as spiritually finding your sense of home. There can be a lot of mother ancestral work that happens and wisdom that drops in as you create these foundations. If you have a Capricorn ascendant, which means Capricorn's in the first house, this brings a focus on partnerships, relationships, fairness, and give and take. You can find you're a bit of an adjudicator or a diplomat during the time that Jupiter's in Cancer. And it's a period of really stepping into deeper relationships with your home, the partnership with yourself, business partners, and intimate partners. And it can even manifest as maybe setting up a home with someone you love, moving in with someone, changing something about the home that you might share with someone else. It's a time to really explore more of your spiritual understanding through texts, teachers, and even religion. Doesn't mean you need to be religious, but you might start looking at different dogma without adopting that dogma as a means to understand the heart. You can find that this is also a period where your intuition is very strong, where there are incredible prophetic dreams that happen quite continuously. And they are almost your teacher. They're showing you what you need to know about life. If you feel called, you can write down what you're learning and even share in time once this period is over, because it can actually be quite hard with the placement of Jupiter to share in a logical, rational, practical manner what you're perceiving with others. But you can use this time just to write down what you're sensing. If you have an Aquarius ascendant, the focus of this period is really on your health, your routine, and ensuring you're really looking after yourself. Jupiter can come in, might stir up some health stuff in order to get you into a better routine, in order to get you more looking after yourself and nurturing your health and well being like a mother would a child. This can also manifest as a time where you want to explore new healing modalities. You want to shift your routine to support your moods better. Maybe it's less about having one daily routine, but one which changes with your monthly cycle. It's even about getting into greater connection with nature, making more time to be with nature. It can be a time also that if you are sick, that there's luck that comes with a cure. There's a new modality you can explore if you have an existing illness, which can help support you. Finally, it can manifest as a time where you want to invest in your health. Health is the ultimate wealth. Added to that, as a part of that investment, you might find that you're called to invest in the health of your home. So that might be that you decide to have a dedicated area in your home for stretching or for yoga. Or it could be something like getting your house checked out for mold or for issues within it, which might be affecting your health and be the root cause of the issues, the health issues you're dealing with. There can also be the opportunity to connect with overseas friends, people you've studied with, and maybe even travel with them. Finally, a focus really on valuing your intuition and listening to the nudges from the universe. And you can find you need to be careful. There might be things that happen where you lose money, but no, because Jupiter's so lucky that there can also be the chance that that money miraculously reappears. Finally, it's a period where you're coming to see that money is not about a physical energy, that the ultimate wealth is your health, and it's the energy that you embody that lives within you. Finally, Pisces ascendant or Pisces in the first house. Jupiter in Cancer is going to be incredibly creative for you, passionate, and you can find that you're even called to return to the household of your childhood or even just to visit it, to do a drive-by if it's no longer in the in the family. There can be an expansion that you want to make in your own home, maybe to allow for children or a space you want to create for your creativity, like a little studio or an area where you can dance or paint or explore that creative energy. If you're considering expanding your family, this can be the transit that does just that or supports you in that decision. There can also be a call to travel for work, to study, or even mentor others within your existing place of employment. You can find that Jupiter in Cancer kind of calls for you to be a mother as you do mentor, study, or teach others, kind of straddling this student teacher role. Finally, there's a lot of sensitivity and intuition running through you. There always is, but it's even more so because Jupiter rules Pisces um, and it's exalted, so it makes that intuition even stronger. You can find that you're really on point with the people that you like, the energy of the people you're sensing around you. And you can find that because of that, you just need more downtime at home, time to recharge. Also, if you're heading in a new life direction or you find yourself heading in a new life direction during this time, Jupiter and Cancer can supersize that, make it even bigger than you initially planned. So that's the horoscope. Now, let's talk about rituals and remedies. Part of what I love about Vedic astrology, and I still am learning a lot about this, is how charts can be remedied, how we can work with the planetary energies through mantra, through color, through yantras, through pujas. So to align with Jupiter's energy, to really harness it, to make it stronger, what we can do is use Thursdays, which Jupiter rules, and we can honor or pray to Jupiter on Thursdays. We can wear yellow or gold and offer gratitude to our teachers, even if that's someone you have never met. If you want to go deeper, you can use the Brahaspati or Jupiter mantra. If you are unsure of what that is, check out the Navagraha course. This is something that myself and the incredible mantra teacher, Siddhi Shakti, we ran earlier this year, working through each of the planetary mantras. And you receive essentially like how the planets are at play within your chart, what you need to strengthen, and the mantra to work with. But this would be a time if you did do that course with us or you know the Jupiter mantra or you want to learn it, use it. And particularly use it on Thursdays to harness the exaltation of Jupiter. This is also a great time if you have a debilitated Jupiter, like myself. Mine sits in Capricorn, or your natal Jupiter sits in Aquarius. It's a great time to help that planet by using the mantra while Jupiter is in its exaltation. Another simple way to help work with Jupiter is just simply by helping others, by doing seva, by doing selfless service, teaching others, guiding others, and giving generously and dedicating the fruits of that to the divine. Finally, let's talk about how to reflect on Jupiter. When Jupiter moves through Cancer, the mind is really bowing to the heart. It's a time of going into the heart's wisdom, of attuning to the heart's wisdom. And it's really a time where we remember that wisdom isn't something a teacher gives to us or we read in a book. It's something we know, like that knowing, the heart's knowing of what is. And very often that heart's knowing, it is so much bigger than what we're taught in the collective. It's so much bigger than the ego that wants to divide, that wants to see people as other. And when we're in our heart, we start to have forgiveness, have compassion and acceptance even for people who might have hurt us. If you want to dive deeper, I would love to do a one-on-one reading with you where we can look specifically at Jupiter, but also his transits in your chart. You might find that you're in your Jupiter returns if this energy is particularly big, and you'll be in your Jupiter returns if you have Jupiter in Cancer, which is something you'll need to look at in your own chart. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribing. I really appreciate when people do subscribe and like. It helps me put more of this work out into the world. Finally, I'm just finishing with an intention for you, which is that I hope that Jupiter brings you the grace and the faith to understand your heart's own wisdom, to move from that place and allow more of that energy to ripple through this world.